My goodness me, there's some big selection decisions for Scotland v Wales, particularly for Wales. And the story of this game is going to be, can Scotland back up a big performance? Can Wales bounce back from a poor performance? A reaction to the selection, and I'll be doing a combined 15 in this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. If you're new to the channel, well, that's because I haven't been doing it very long. I love my rugby. I'm committed to bringing you rugby chat, even when I'm on a couple of days away. My missus is working in Geneva, so I thought I'd tag along. But make sure I brought my little mobile studio with me, because I'm that much into the Six Nations. I want to be able to talk about it wherever in the world I am. Thank you very much. Leave your comments on what you think about the teams and my combined 15 that I've put between the two, starting with Scotland. And as you were, in the case of Scotland, except for one very significant name, Xander Fagerson, in at tight head prop. That's great news for Scotland. Improves what was already a quality team against England. Still no Hamish Watson. The Mish has to wait another week. Luke Crosby continues at open side flanker in his stead. So other than that, it's exactly as you were. WP now dropping from the starting side down to the bench. Xander Fagerson in at tight head prop. He was 50-50 whether he could have played last week. Gregor Townsend, his selection was vindicated in that game against England. But Fagerson coming back beefs up what is already a pretty beefy Scottish pack, I've got to say. That's one thing. Traditionally, Scottish packs are very mobile. They play a fast and loose game. This Scotland pack showed that they can mix it up against England at Twickenham. They can play different ways. And particularly, I thought Richie Gray and Grant Gilchrist were awesome. Grant Gilchrist has been playing brilliantly for a while now, but Richie Gray's got a new lease of life back in the side, and he vindicated that selection. His beautiful hands, but man alive, that guy can hit rucks and make tackles. In fact, every single one of the Scottish pack that started last week got double digits in terms of tackling. They work so hard, and that is going to make it even harder to back up that performance, which Scotland have traditionally struggled to do. But I'll tell you what, I did notice a slight difference mentally in the Scottish side after they won last week. The celebration was a little more muted than it has been, and I think that's because they recognise we're a really good team, and good teams don't just win one game and think it's like their World Cup final. Good teams win game after game, and that's the challenge for Scotland this weekend. So it's Pierre Schumann, it's Turner and Xander Fagerson, like I mentioned, completing the front row. Love the second row. Richie Gray and Grant Gilchrist with James Ritchie, Luke Crosby and Matt Fagerson. Matt Fagerson, who put in, like 27 tackles in that game last week. Immense shift. In the back line, another selection that was vindicated for Gregor Townsend was Ben White at scrum half, who looked great. Do you know, last weekend was the first game without, first Six Nations game without Ali Price or Greg Laidlaw in a matchday squad in 10 years. And as I say, vindication in the selection. Ben White was great. Finn Russell continues. The superhuman Duan van der Merwe, Iron Do, continues on the left wing with Steyn on the other. Tuipulotu and Tioni Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones in the centre. That Glaswegian partnership worked so well last week, and it was a really positive selection, putting Hugh Jones in, who adds an attacking dimension. Chris Harris, brilliant defensive centre, and is great for Scotland. But I think that selection of Hugh Jones signified where Gregor Townsend's mindset is at, in that if they've got a chance, they're going to go for it and go and win games rather than try not to lose games. And Hogg at fullback, definitely a player you want if that is your attitude to playing. On the bench, I just got to point out, I thought Blair Kinghorn was fantastic coming off the bench. That guy's got such skills and a great rugby brain, and you can slot him into pretty much any position in the back line except for scrum half, and he'll do a good job. So I really, really think Scotland are in a great place, and they'll feel confident. Over to Wales. Oh, here we go. This is where the storylines are. Warren Gatland. Not afraid to make the big calls. Never has been. He was the person that dropped Brian O'Driscoll for that deciding test match down in Australia. And he's not afraid to cut some other legends from his Welsh team in his second stint there. Alan Wynne-Jones, gone. Talupe Faletau, out of the matchday 15 onto the bench. Justin Tipuric, off you go, out of the matchday squad. These players all played poorly last weekend, but to drop all three It's a brave call, and I congratulate Warren Gatland for having the guts to do it. It needed to be done, and I think there's one player in that starting 15 who signifies, well, maybe two actually, who signify why Warren Gatland might have made this bold call. Joe Hawkins, new to international rugby, young guy, looked really good at 12 for Wales. Jack Morgan, relatively new on the international stage, outshone much more experienced players in the pack. And if Warren Gatland was kind of on the fence about giving new blood a chance, well, I think they showed him the way. And yeah, look at numbers 4 to 8 for Wales. Unrecognisable from teams that have gone before. Take out Adam Beard out of that equation, who's not been around that long himself. And this is revolution for Wales. Dafydd Jenkins starting second row. Chris Chunza starting back row with Tommy Raffel and Jack Morgan. Massive calls. I think Wales fans will feel excited. Quite often we get excited by young players that we think have potential because you're judging them not on what you've seen but on what you imagine they might be able to do at some point in the future. It is important to remember these are still guys at the start of their international journey, and you don't just become a superstar like that unless you're like a freak like Lewis Rees-Zammit, of course. But so we're gonna know a lot more about these players come Saturday evening than we know about them now. But they're being given a chance, and Warren Gatland is going for it. One experienced head does come into the front row, Wyn Jones. I'm hoping that we're going to see the Wyn Jones that of a couple of years ago when he got selected for the British and Irish Lions, when he was absolutely brilliant. He hasn't quite got to that level. He's working his way back there, and Wales needing to be at that level come Saturday afternoon. In the back line, unchanged, as you were. Thomas Williams, Dan Bigger, Rio Dyer and Josh Adams on the wings, Joe Hawkins, George North and Liam Williams at fullback. Onto the bench then, well, Scott Baldwin, Rhys Carey, got Leon Brown. Davis is a big fella at second row. Another face that a lot of Wales fans have been wanting to see. Taulupe Faletau on the bench. Do you know, I've never seen him have 2 bad games in a row. So I think when he does get on, he will have had the kick up the backside that he needed after last weekend. And expect to see the Taulupe Faletau that we know and have loved over the years. Rhys Webb, Rhys Patchell, Alex Cuthbert. There is your Wales 15. What I quite like about doing the combined 15s is that you get a sense of where the balance of power is in any given matchup. So it's also where a lot of people disagree with some of my choices. So far, I've only talked about Gregor Townsend and Warren Gatland's choices. These choices, as we move into a combined 15, are mine. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments. That's what I've gone for. Out of the 30 players available and the bench I've also picked, I went with Wyn Jones over Pierre Schoeman. I may well be picking that based on historical performances because Pierre Schoeman this season has been playing brilliantly for Edinburgh. Wyn Jones, like I say, getting back to his best. Hooker, one of those coin toss positions. And I just went with Ken Owens. Xander Fagerson at tight head prop. And yeah, 5 Scotsmen in that pack. And I think it wasn't a tough decision at second row. Grant Gilchrist over Adam Beard, to be fair. Obviously, Adam Beard has been great, but Grant Gilchrist wasn't just brilliant against England last week. He's been really, really good for a long time. And if there was a Lions squad picked right now, Grant Gilchrist is in that squad, no question, and would be putting himself in contention to start. He's been that good. Jamie Ritchie, Matt Fagerson in the back row. Tommy Raffel. I do like Tommy Raffel. Justin Tipperick, he's got all the skills and he adds dimensions when he's playing well. Tommy Raffel is just hard and adds a kind of dynamic element to a pack he's in. For Leicester, he slows up opposition ball and he secures your own ball. And I think that's going to be massive for Wales because the battle for the breakdown, to slow Scotland down when they want to go, and they showed how comfortable they are playing phase after phase and going coast to coast. But when Wales do have the ball, if they can secure it, and Tommy Raffel, I think gives Wales a big edge there, getting good, clean, quick ball. They do have a back line that can do damage because whilst you look at that back line and there's 4 Scotsmen in it, in almost every position, I think you could make an argument for the Welsh player wearing the jersey. Thomas Williams, I've got him there at 9. Certainly Dan Bigger. Be quite happy with Dan Bigger in any team I was playing in. He's an outstanding fly half. So that's a coin toss. Duhan van der Merwe's the obvious one where, I mean, he was just he's operating on another level right now. So he's in every time over Rio Dyer. But Josh Adams on the other wing. In the centre, gone for Hugh Jones over George North. That's a toss-up. Sione Tuipulotu, he's a class above Joe Hawkins right now, although Joe Hawkins has shown that he's got the ability to maybe get to that level soon. And at fullback, yes, Stuart Hogg left him out. I love Liam Williams. I thought in a poor Welsh team he was good last week, and I just have Liam Williams above Stuart Hogg. So if Wales get good ball, they can do damage. If Wales don't slow up Scotland ball, we know they can do damage. So again, I'm just going to highlight the role. Tommy Raffel, massive job for him to do this weekend. I do think Scotland have an edge on the bench. They've got, I mean, the numbers bear it out. 5 forwards and 4 backs, 9 players out of the 15. But I think they've got more impact off the bench. And with guys like Blair Kinghorn, he's a baller. Johnny Gray, what an engine to come off your bench. Horn adds speed at scrum half. I think the drop-off in some of the Welsh positions from starting position to the bench is potentially bigger. And I think the quality of players Scotland are bringing off the bench is overall better, with the exception of Taulupe Faletau, who if he's given 35 minutes and he's angry because he's not starting, and he plays anything like Taulupe Faletau does, you got a match winner right there in a tight game. So lots to play for. I think looking at that combined 15, you see why Scotland are the favourites for this one. You see why they've been given the edge. But Warren Gatland, it feels like he's let the shackles off a little bit already. Is that because he's realised that the situation he's in is more dire than he thought it was, and he needs to change the script pretty quickly? Because Wales, on the whole, I think their pack particularly just looks slow, and they looked their years, didn't they? This could be a new dawn and a new era for Wales. Can it start straight away? We're going to find out on Saturday evening, and I can't wait, frankly. I'm going for Scotland by 6. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Leave your comments in the channel. If you've got to this point in the video, well, and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because there's much more content coming. Nice one.